A Commercial Real Estate Guide. Chapter 1. A Commercial Real Estate Guide. Commercial Real Estate 1. I heard that commercial real estate is now overbuilt almost everywhere, meaning you should be able to rent commercial property cheaply. That fraud that came to be known as VWorks was supposed to be a revolution in commercial/office space, where people supposedly rented space in buildings where they supposedly networked with each other, but it failed because businesses are busy doing their own thing, not socializing. Anyone can invest in commercial properties. You have to get a feel for it, just like with residential real estate in your area. It's still real estate and operates the same way as residential real estate, but it's a bit more complicated. The basic principles of real estate investing are the same to both residential and commercial properties, but some aspects of commercial real estate are more complex than residential real estate. A commercial property is any type of building that is zoned for commercial use. It could be a small store, a big shopping mall, an office building, or a retail strip mall. Many commercial properties were once residential. It's just that the zoning has changed so that now people can run stores or businesses out of them. Zoning is what the local governing body, city, town, county, says the property can be used for. Communities rezone their areas all the time, especially if they are growing and changing. Sometimes they rezone them in response to citizen and property owner requests. Commercial properties are almost always more valuable than residential properties. This is one indirect way to make money in real estate. Look for residential real estate near commercially zoned areas that look as though they are about to be rezoned to commercial real estate soon. If you know in advance that an area is going to be changed from residential to commercial zoning, you could make a profit buying the property now and selling it when it changes zoning. In general, commercial real estate is more expensive than residential real estate, which is why more experienced people get into it. Some shopping centers and office buildings could sell for multi-millions of dollars. The principle is the same, the law of supply and demand. Don't buy a strip mall in a city that already has a number of big malls. Don't buy an office building in a city that is overbuilt with office space. Because commercial real estate is so expensive, it's common for people to partner up in projects and commercial real estate companies, as opposed to many residential real estate investors who are one-man/woman shows. Commercial leases are more complex than residential leases because there are often government regulatory issues that don't apply in residential real estate. Broadly speaking, there are 4 commercial real estate categories: retail, industrial, office, multifamily residential. In order to maximize your chances of success, pick one of these areas and specialize in it. Don't spread yourself too thin simply because knowledge in any one small area is what makes you successful. When you're a player in one of these fields, people know you and bring you the deals. Retail property is any type of building where things are sold from to the general public. The concept of tenant mix refers to a place like a mall. You have to choose a good variety of stores that will attract the most numbers of people. Some malls specialize like an antiques mall, but most have a variety of store types in them. How do you get customers to firstly go to your mall, and secondly, how do you keep them happy while they're there so that they come back? Supermarkets are generally graded in the following categories. Super regional, 1,000,000 plus square feet. Regional, 300,000 to 1 million square feet. Community, 100,000 to 300,000 square feet. Neighborhood, 30,000 to 100,000 square feet. Strip, 10,000 to 20,000 square feet. Industrial properties are factories, warehouses, research and development facilities, industrial parks, etc. Obviously, your client base is limited to the few people in industry, relatively speaking, but on the bright side, industrial tenants usually stay in one place for a long time once they get established there. Office buildings used to cluster in the downtown area of any town, but nowadays they're everywhere. It's kinda cool for some people to locate an office building on the outskirts of town, next to a mall, within a mall, or right next to a residential area, because you're not surrounded by the concrete jungle of downtown. The general categories of office real estate are: high-rise, the number of stories regulated by the local area; mid-rise, low-rise; garden, 1- and 2-story buildings with landscaping. Office buildings are also classified as A. Less than 4 years old, most expensive; B. 8 to 10 years old; C. 15 or more years old. Multifamily residential properties. In general, anything over 5 units is considered a multifamily residential investment property. This goes anywhere from small apartment buildings to big apartment buildings to subdivisions. Whatever you do with commercial real estate, start small and work your way up as you learn. Avoid odd commercial buildings that are specially designed for a narrowly defined use because your potential customer base for either rent or sales will be limited. You can do cool things though if you're creative and smart. One guy took an old train station and made a big nightclub out of it. Before you buy, check the property taxes on the particular real estate. They could be high enough to make you reconsider the deal. After you buy a piece of commercial, you will have to start new leases with the tenants. You might want to measure off the square footage to see that the unit square footages are correct. In commercial real estate lingo, an abstract is a brief summary of the business terms of the lease. The lease covers the same material in more detail. Get a commercial real estate attorney help you through the process. Before you buy, look over the area to determine if it's on the upswing or looks like it's going down. With residential real estate, roughly the same size houses in a neighborhood are all the same price. This is called the comparable going rate or the comp for that area. With commercial real estate, other factors come into play. It's the category of the building, the traffic congestion, etc. The reason comps don't come into play much is because there are very comps in commercial real estate. A lot of residential real estate sells all the time, but commercial real estate doesn't sell nearly as much, and with the big buildings, not that much at all. Along with that, just about every commercial building has some unique features and is used for commercial activities that are different from other commercial buildings. For example, a medical services building is different from a general office building, which is different from a building with a bunch of stores and a few restaurants in it. When looking to buy a piece of big commercial real estate, sure, look around for similar buildings and see what they sold for, but this is why you have to be in long enough to get a feel for what a commercial building is actually worth. Some people value a commercial building by the net incomes it brings in over expenses to run it. If you can increase net income and or decrease expenses, the real estate value goes up. The capitalization rate, or cap rate, is a ratio that measures how much money the building brings in per month divided by the asking price of the building x 100 to be expressed as a percentage. Every area has a different cap rate. This is how they compare commercial real estate and determine if it's a good deal or not. In other words, take a property's net operating income (NOI), divide it by the cap rate, and you get an estimated value of the property. Another ratio to use when estimating the value of commercial real estate is the gross rent multiplier, GRM. The GRM is calculated by dividing the sales price by the yearly potential gross income. I'm only covering the basics here. You should learn more about these ratios in a commercial real estate book and intuitively learn about the commercial real estate market in your area. Commercial leases are generally long, complex contracts with lot of terms to them. Because many of them are at least 3 years long, they take into account rent increases year by year in schemes called elevator clauses. Some of the different types of leases are as follows. Flat lease, simple, the straight fee for the period of the lease. Step lease, the rent increases year by year to take into account general cost increases with time in the economy in general. Net lease, similar to a step lease, but the increases are determined year by year based on actual rather than projected increased costs. Cost of living lease, increases in the cost of the lease year by year is based on the federal government's calculation of the annual inflation rate. Percentage lease. This common for retail stores. Rent is based on either an agreed-on minimum monthly fee or a percentage, 3 to 12%, of the tenant's gross revenue, what he takes in sales, whichever is greater. When a lease is nearing termination, the landlord typically wants 6 months' notice whether the tenant will renew or terminate his commercial lease. Most commercial leases have a rules clause that allow the landlord to change the rules or create new ones within reason. Many commercial buildings are public buildings open to the general public. You have to be hands-on, keep it maintained and conform to all safety regulations. Before you rent a unit to a company or business, check them out to see what kind of business they are. Check their credit rating and/or the credit rating of the owner. What about their previous record as tenants elsewhere? Do you think they will be successful enough to pay you rent every month? If not, don't rent to them. Commercial real estate 2. Retail commercial real estate is basically buying up or leasing buildings or parts of buildings with stores, malls, and/or shopping centers and renting them to make a profit. It takes a lot of mathematics and a lot of attention to details to make it. The concepts are basically hands-on, what you learn on the job. With commercial buildings where the tenants are operating as retail businesses, access to the public is critical to businesses, so the closer the store is to exposure to the public, such as having a storefront, the more valuable the location. A tenant will pay for square footage. Ease of public access to the location. The value of the property generally declines the higher up one goes. First floor is best, second floor is not as good, and so on and so forth, unless there is an extenuating circumstance like the basements of some large commercial buildings in Montreal, which are entrance and exit ways for subway stations. Commercial real estate values are high here. The same applies if you attach a parking garage to the higher floor of a building. Access to the public shoots up, so the rents should reflect this. Think of the amount of foot traffic and car traffic for location. This is what drives commercial real estate. Retail centers are overbuilt. Supermalls are replacing the strip malls. You might buy an old hardware store and make a bingo hall out of it. One guy bought an old strip mall and made it exclusively automotive repair and parts businesses. To get started in retail commercial real estate, look for a small commercial real estate agent/broker and look for a strip mall, a small shopping center that will have a main draw, called an anchor, usually a supermarket or a drug store, and several other stores like a dry cleaning store, a video rental store, a fast food joint, etc. The value is determined by the car traffic nearby and the extent of consumer usage for convenience sake, as opposed to going to the bigger mall a few miles away. Check for ample parking and easy access from the street. The tenants, retail stores there now will have leases. As the new owner, you will either renegotiate the leases or look for new businesses to locate there. It is not uncommon for commercial leases to be 5 years or more. The success of any commercial building depends on foot and car traffic accessibility, people able to see it and get there easily from the street, ample free parking, and something that draws them there, either the anchor store or something else. Try to make the shops compatible such that they all draw in the same type of customer. You could have a themed strip mall like all fast food joints, all home decor stores, all fashion boutiques, all sports type stores, etc. One guy made a big pile of old cars in the middle of his parking lot, about 30 feet high, sprayed some cement on it, and now it's a touristy attraction. Another guy put a picnic area in his parking lot. An entertainment venue like a bar or bowling alley might bring traffic in. Banks are reluctant to give greenhorns in commercial real estate loans to buy the property. Commercial real estate websites. 1. PyKennett.com, links to 4,000 real estate websites. AreaDevelopment.com, magazine. CommercialPropertyNews.com. CBIGroupInvestments.com, invest in commercial real estate. HuntCommercial.com, Western New York. SSRealty.com, New Jersey commercial real estate. MN-RESORTS.com, listings of resorts, outfitters, and campgrounds for sale in Minnesota. Pfefferco.com, Twin Cities, MN. YabLO.net, Minneapolis. AxiomRealty.com. LEE-ASSOCIATES.com, California, Nevada, and Arizona. NeilTurnerRealty.com, Kentucky. HerdRealty.com, Iowa. DSMCommercial.com, Iowa. Topics.net/business/real-estate. JamesBirch.com, commercial real estate in Central Illinois. CommercialBrokers.com. COMMRemagazine.com, commercial properties in Connecticut and Massachusetts. B2BRE.com, business real estate directory.cityfeet.com. globalbx.com/commercial-real-estate-for-sale.asp. michaelsre.com, hotels, commercial real estate. loopnet.com/commercial for sale. loopnet.com/commercial real estate. atlanticgulf.com. avalonbay.com, right. bairdwarner.com, Chicago. bluegreencorp.com, rural land, Florida. camdenprop.com, right, Texas. caramerica.com, real estate development, Washington, D.C. catelus.com, San Francisco. ccimnet.com. ccim.com, commercial real estate network. Cendant.com, mortgage services, etc. cls.ca, commercial real estate Canada. cmi-online.com, commercial mortgage. commrex.com. comtechproperties.com, Orlando commercial real estate. cponline.com. crownam.com, shopping malls. cushwakay.com. daytonbusiness.com, Ohio. donahoe.com, development. dukeariat.com. dunesproperties.com, vacation rentals, South Carolina. e-space.com, commercial real estate U.SA in Canada. federalrealty.com. ffci.com, vacation resort properties. fmdarby.com, Atlanta, GA. frederickross.com, Denver. grubb-ellis.com. grubbellis-denver.com. hassan.com. hawthornecorp.com. hi.net. hoteljournal.com. hsbnewsletters.com/cma, commercial mortgage. iciworld.net. icsc.org, shopping centers. icsc.org/dmm, major malls. inman.com. ire.net, institutional real estate. johnburnham.com, San Diego. kaufmanandbroad.com. cov.com. lee-assoc.com, commercial real estate Western U.S. leonard.com. loopnet.com. michelsonrealty.com. moreover.com. mtg-cap.com, commercial real estate mortgages in the Southeast. nz-newmexariz.com, Arizona and New Mexico land. offices.org. onthemarket.net, commercial real estate. pmrealtygroup.com. piremco.com, commercial real estate, Los Angeles area. propexchange.com. realtyne.commercial. reexchange.com. rarec.com, real estate research. rig.com, commercial real estate database for a fee. cpnes.com, resorts, South Carolina. shoppingcenters.com. specialtyretail.net. thegrid.net/transcom/page1.html, commercial real estate loans. therouscompany.com, Columbia, MD. tradedimensions.com, shopping centers. udrt.com, Wright, Virginia. uli.org, Urban Land Institute. wcicommunities.com, resort communities, Florida. wicert.com, New Jersey. xceligent.com. Commercial Investment Real Estate Council. 430 N, Michigan. Suite 500. Chicago, Illinois 60611. 800-621-7035. National Association of Office and Industrial Parks. 2201 Cooperative Way. Herndon, Virginia 20171. NIOP.org. Commercial real estate websites 2. burgessrawson.com.au, Burgess Rawson, commercial and industrial real estate agents and property consultants with offices in 5 Australian capital cities. christieoffices.com.au, Christie Offices, provides serviced offices and virtual offices, in Cairns, Brisbane, Sydney, North Sydney, Melbourne CBD. commercialrealestate.com.au, commercialrealestate.com.au, commercial, industrial, office and retail real estate and property listings Australia-wide including Sydney, Melbourne and Brisbane. commercialview.com.au, commercialview.com.au, buy or lease commercial real estate Australia-wide. cushmanwakefield.com.au, Cushman & Wakefield, property advisors and agents. jll.com.au/Australia/N-O, Jones Lang LaSalle, commercial and industrial property services firm, includes sales and leasing, management, valuations, research and consulting. knightfrank.com.au, Knight Frank, nationwide commercial and industrial real estate agency and advisory firm with offices in 7 states of Australia. mcgees.com.au, McGees, national property consultants. This national real estate agency has offices in 5 states of Australia plus the Northern Territory and deals primarily with commercial and industrial real estate. savills.com.au, Savills, commercial and industrial real estate agents with offices in several states of Australia. Office buildings business. In office buildings, access to the public is generally not a big deal. The tenant wants a nice, comfortable office with the most square footage he can get at the lowest price with the most liberal lease policies. Office buildings can be built high because the height of an office is generally not important as long as the rent is reasonable and the office looks good. In some places, the rent is higher for views from higher floors. People generally like the outside of the office building they work in to look attractive and they want the inside to look attractive and feel comfortable, so that's what you have to provide as an owner who wants to charge high rental rates. The cost per square foot of office space varies by area relative to supply and demand. The office space market is not really related to the residential real estate market. It is more attuned to the local economy. The time to buy office buildings is when there is an oversupply of office space on the market. Buy then and raise the rents when office real estate gets tight again. Find a real estate agent who specializes in the field and learn from him or her. If you see good commercial or residential property for sale or lease and the owners are desperate to get out, you could lease at a low price, find good tenants and make a profit. Buy an old warehouse and put self-storage units in it.